Hello and welcome to Boomer Live. We are back. Of course, we had a long break and we are back to be talking about sport. And of course, today, as you already see on the title, it is regarding India's series win against New Zealand. India have managed to win the series 3-0, and which also means India are now the new ODI number one team, which is an exemplary feat for this team under Rohit Sharma. After the T20 World Cup, definitely there were a lot of doubts on India's white ball format and the way they've been playing it. But since the start of 2023, they've been able to answer a lot of critics and the kind of intent they've shown, especially in the one day format. And this series, definitely against a quality New Zealand team who have just come out after defeating Pakistan in their own backyard, is definitely a huge and a positive result. Sandeep, how do you see this series for India, as this is a new beginning for us as well, as is a episode number one of Road to 2023 World Cup edition. For India, of course, we've been talking about how great that team has been shaping up in terms of the players, in terms of every youngster stepping up whenever they need to be. But now it's also about the experienced pros coming into the party, because Virat Kohli in Sri Lanka says Rohit Sharma is back among ranks. Shubman Gill has had an outstanding ODI career so far since his debut. How do you see the team shaping up now before 10 months before the World Cup?
I think it's an apt time to start a series of the lead up to the road to the 2023 World Cup, especially because India are on red hot form. One might argue that Sri Lanka was an inferior opponent when it comes to New Zealand, like when you compare them with New Zealand. But nonetheless, they defeated Sri Lanka 3-0, and the performance that they put up, we always know that whenever a team is touring India, they always have their backs against the wall, because India are a very difficult side to beat at home, and especially New Zealand's ODI record in India was not that great. They had come here in I think on 6 occasions. They had played 6 series against India prior to this. They had lost all of them, and they couldn't win a game, and that goes to show the dominance that Team India has. And one thing that I actually love, let's talk about the positives. I mean, there are so many positives, but the one thing that I actually liked about this Indian team is that they are putting on the runs they're piling the runs on the board at the top, and they are defending it. India in their last 6 games, the 6 dominating wins that they had. Okay, let's just consider the series against Bangladesh as well. They Ishan Kishan, the one where Ishan Kishan scored a double century. So let's consider that game as well. So in the last 7 games, India has batted first on 5 occasions, and they have won the toss on 3 of those occasions. And they have gone on to win all the 5 games, and in dominant fashion. Kohli scored centuries in 3 of those 5 games. Two openers went on to score double centuries. Ishan Kishan scored a double century in the game against Bangladesh. Then you had Shubman Gill score a double century in this series. And you also had Rohit Sharma chipping in with a century today. And I think
Mm,
all in all, this top three looks very promising,
yeah,
especially with Shubman Gill coming in. We always thought, especially I always thought, I mean, we spoke about this, that Ishan Kishan would have been the better option when it comes to opening at the moment, because India does not have a left-hander batsman in their top six, and that is a flaw probably some of the other teams might exploit. New Zealand did try. I mean, they had Mitchell Santner. Sri Lanka had Wanindu Hasaranga to take the ball away from the right-handers, but the way the Indian batsmen tackled Hasaranga throughout the series in against Sri Lanka, and also the way they tackled Mitchell Santner, we could see Shubman Gill had the intent. Shubman Gill, Ishan Kishan, they no matter where they are coming into bat, if they're opening, they are going for the shots. They are targeting specific bowlers. And today, especially if we talk about today, the 2 sixes that Rohit Sharma hit of the second over of Mitchell Santner actually put him off. So it's good to see that Team India is trying to target the best spinner or the potent threat from the opposition. Even if you consider that over from Lockie Ferguson started off brilliantly. He bowled the first maiden over for New Zealand in this series. And right after that, Shubman Gill just went after him. 22 runs
yeah,
of that over, that just shifted the. I think that was where the momentum came in India's innings today. And at one point, it looked like India were going on to score 450, 475. I was
yeah.
hoping that they would go on to do so, but uh, once again, when we talk about all these positives, we also have to consider what will India do from number 4 position onwards, because uh, the bulk amount of scoring will be done by Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma, and Shubman Gill or Ishan Kishan, whoever gets to open alongside Rohit Sharma. I think these three are going to do the majority of the scoring. But India needs that number four, number five player. You need KL Rahul, Shreyas Iyer to step up their game, and Surya Kumar Yadav as well. I think we made a point at the start of this series that Surya Kumar Yadav does not fit into our ODI 11, especially because, see, you have we can draw parallels to Mohammad Rizwan as well. Mohammad Rizwan, excellent T20I player. Come the ODI is not that effective. Similarly, Surya Kumar Yadav is in red hot form, and I am quite sure that I won't be surprised if he goes on to score another century in the upcoming T20I series. But when it comes to ODI, I think it's just about pacing the innings and playing some of one or two rash shots at the wrong time. I think the way Surya Kumar Yadav got out in the first ODI and the third ODI, I won't say it's a point of concern,
I
but I
think we
would
will talk about it. We definitely will talk about it. I think we have a lot to cover, so we definitely will delve
I just
into
went
that
on a
character.
monologue. I just went on a 4 5 minutes monologue.
Yeah, so I think we will talk about how Surya Kumar Yadav's effectiveness in one day cricket has been. But before that, I'll take some comments. Kapil, yeah, we've been not in the town. We've been slightly busy with some other work, so that's why we've been unable to come. Talking about Shanwari, he says, "Hey guys, no power here, but still managed charge for you." Yeah, I've been hearing in Pakistan. Pakistan have been facing major power cuts and electricity shortcuts everywhere, shortage everywhere across Pakistan. So I hope you manage charge. Thank you for that, but I still will advise you to save some charge for your personal use rather than spending it on YouTube and other channels other than that as well. So I would say and hope power gets restored in Pakistan very quickly. Hi, Ayusha. And Teju says Gill and Siraj has been the biggest positive for India. We will talk about that. Hi guys, fresh locable. Thank you for that. Just a needed change. Stadium like Indo with such short boundaries, will T20 should be played there. Yeah, that is another concern as well. I mean, we will talk about it, and of course, New Zealand might have felt like playing at home. Um, let's talk about series firstly. Of course, Shubman Gill was a, a point of question before Sri Lanka series, right? Before Sri Lanka series, definitely a lot of pundits across the world did come out asking the why Shubman Gill preferred over Ishan Kishan when Rohit Sharma came out to make that statement openly in the press conference saying that we are going to give Shubman Gill that run. But then, boy, hasn't he never looked back since then? Look at the way he's been striking the ball. Look at the strike rate, right? With Shubman Gill, everybody was resonating with the fact that he strikes the ball very slow. He would be striking just at 70, 80, but then he's just made everybody shut up, and he's been the highest strike rate. He's been the only opener in the last 2 years who's been striking in excess of 110, 115. Even when you talk about Johnny Best or Jason Roy, they all have a career strike rate of just 105, 104. And here is a guy who's been
And
scoring
also another
centuries at.
interesting fact about or a stat interesting record about Shubman Gill, he's one of only two players to have an average in excess of 50 and a strike rate in excess of 100. I mean, right now he averages somewhere close to 75
Yeah,
and
he
a
averages
strike rate of
75 and
115.
his strike rate is 110. And
Yeah, 10 15. Great.
that's a impeccable record for any one day batter. And he's truly a modern day batter in all regard. The way he's been timing the ball, the way the confidence he's been having, he's been able to carry that confidence which the team has entrusted upon him. And that's where I will give complete regard to Rohit Sharma and Rahul Dravid and the complete team management who really have entrusted that confidence, shown confidence that he can go out there and do a job for them, and he's never definitely not looked behind after that. Look at the way he's been timing the ball from Sri Lanka series. He's been timing the ball, he's been striking the ball. The way Rohit Sharma and Shubman Gill have been taking on the power play by scoring at 8 runs per over, 7 runs per over. This is what modern game
And
really
not
requires.
just scoring at 7 8 runs per over, there has hardly been a rash shot from Shubman Gill. Rohit Sharma, we see often that he gets a bit carried away with the pull shots and the hook shots, but you hardly see Shubman Gill miss a stride. He is very calculative in that front. If he has the ball, if he has some room, he'll go after the bowling, and that is very good cricket, very aggressive, very calculative cricket. Because today as well we saw that the team was not afraid. Like there was a phase where they were once scoring at 7 8 runs every over. They were going at 5 6 runs. But even if they did not have that boundary, often you tend to get carried away. If you have 84 runs after the first 10 overs, and suddenly there is a bowler coming in bowling going at 4 5 runs per over, you tend to get carried away. You tend to take that chance and then get out. But Shubman Gill in particular, because Rohit Sharma was still taking those chances. But tonight as well, I mean, it's just so effortless how Rohit Sharma and Shubman Gill scores those runs, because honestly, it did not look that, like I think Harsha Bhogle rightly mentioned, it did not look that Rohit Sharma hadn't scored an ODI century in such a long time. I mean, it's a century after 3 years.
3 years. Yeah.
Yeah. And it did not look like he was out of form, out of
I
sorts.
mean,
Well, he
you
was
could
not out of
never say
form.
Rohit Sharma was out of form, right? Especially in one day format, because he was striking the ball well. It was just that he was unable to carry on batting for a longer period of time. He was just finding ways to get out or throw away his wicket. But here, and in the last game, he did say that the big knock is around the corner. And today, he did spend some time in the middle, and you saw what he can do in a cricketing field, because he can take on any bowler in the world, and he can absolutely be a nightmare for bowlers. And now, alongside Shubman Gill, the partnership has been outstanding. Now, every series they've had 100 plus partnerships coming, and at a very good nick. It's just not like 100 plus partnership about 25 overs, 27 overs. It's coming 100 run mark is reaching around like 15, 16, 14 overs, and that's a crazy rate in one day cricket to have. Now, understanding the World Cup is going to be played in these semi familiar grounds, and understanding the pitches are also going to be very familiar as to very similar as to what we are going to get right now. I think the team is shaping up, especially the top order is shaping up pretty well. Middle order, I think with one Shreyas Iyer and KL Rahul returns, it'll be much more solid. Now, Hardik Pandya today scoring runs is also a huge positive. Ravindra Jadeja is back in a cricketing field again. Indian team now all of a sudden is looking like a very potent force. I understand it's bilaterals once again, whatever you say, but there's right roadmap or the right blueprints which have been laid down for the 50 over World Cup at this point.
Yeah, definitely. And often people criticize India winning bilaterals and not doing well in ICC tournaments. But you have to understand that even when India fails in those ICC tournaments, they have a very smooth sailing path throughout the group stage. More often than not, we see India cruising through to the semifinals or the knockouts in general, quarterfinals, semifinals. They just cruise through, and then you have that one bad game, and then you're out. So it's not that India haven't been dominant in the group stages, and that dominates the domination in that group stage comes from the confidence that they get after winning this bilateral series, because India are going to play at home. Finally, India are going to play a World Cup at home after 12 years. And we have seen India started the trend, and after that, Australia won at home, England won at home. And so India are going to be the favorites come the World Cup, and they need a foundation from where they can build on. And I think India are doing pretty well to set up or form a perfect 11. And I think they have that 15, 16 players, out of which they should sort of um, tickle between the 15 or 16 based on their form, because it is going to be very difficult for some of the players to keep their form throughout the year. So there might come a time where you might see Shubman Gill or Rohit Sharma not timing the ball as well as they were timing it today. But I think it's important to stick to a particular combination. And I think you need to assign roles to players, especially because uh, see, India were desperate right now. They did not have a wicket keeper in that middle order, with KL Rahul not being there, Rishabh Pant not being there, and hence they were forced to bring in a Ishan Kishan in that middle order. But from whatever we saw in the three games, I think it is clear, yeah, we should give players more time, but it is clear that Ishan Kishan does not fit in that role of that number four player
Yeah.
in that Indian team.
There's a very interesting point by Shaurya, right? It's something which we've been noticing from Ishan Kishan for a while. I mean, whatever we've been talking about him, there are serious flaws in Ishan Kishan, the batter. He tends to get stuck in the crease for higher period of times. His dot ball percentage is way more higher than any other player out there. He tends to consume a lot of balls, which puts pressure on the opposite batter who's on the other end. Now,
And
if you
after
have to pick
after
out
consuming a
numbers,
lot of balls, if you just get out trying to accelerate the scoring, it just looks bad.
yeah, it just
Five
looks
or
bad.
six runs of 15 balls looked pathetic. Tonight,
Firstly, in
17 or
T20I,
24,
there's a huge
that
criticism
was
on him
bad.
now.
Yeah.
T20I, he's been unable to get going. That's been a criticism he's been facing over the last 1 year. You saw that with Mumbai Indians as well. He had a very poor season there, according to the standards or the price tag which he was bought for at least. Now, when we talk about Team India and T20Is, he's been not able to get going. Now, in one day cricket as well, though he scored that one double hundred, but that does not cover up a lot of flaws he's been having inherently over the last 1 year or 2 year period of time, where he's been struggling against high quality pace. Whenever the ball a bowler balls in excess of 145 or 140, he tends to struggle. Whenever the ball turns away from him, he tends to struggle.
And I
Either
think
whenever he
it's
faces
just
swing
a
balls as
matter of
well.
fact that India did not have a wicketkeeper that they had to go to the extent of
They
trying
had
Ishan
to,
Kishan at number 4.
but do you think that, so does that really open a case for someone like a Sanju Samson, who's been extremely
Definitely. I
effective in
mean,
one
if
day
Sanju
form?
Samson would have been fit, if Sanju Samson would have been fit, I couldn't see Ishan Kishan coming in at number 4. I can imagine Surya Kumar Yadav coming in at number 4, and Sanju Samson fitting in, coming in that number 5 or number 6 slot, depending on where Hardik Pandya wants to bat. So
Hmm.
definitely, I think it was a desperate measure because Sanju Samson is not fit. Your KL Rahul is not fit. So you have two wicket keepers who are in the fray right now, who are not. Who not. I mean, KL Rahul was unavailable for the wedding.
Hmm. Hmm.
Congratulations to him.
Yeah,
So KL Rahul
congratulations.
was unavailable. Sanju Samson was not there. You don't have the services of Rishabh Pant, so you did not have any fallback option. So they had to try a player whom they consider in their 15, top 15 or top 17, say, but they consider him as an opener. So they had to try a player. You can't drop Shubman Gill at number 3. Neither can you drop a Rohit Sharma at number 3. So
Hmm.
they did the best thing possible. They found a spot where they did not have a batter. Shreyas Iyer was not there, so they tried to experiment with Ishan Kishan. Nothing wrong with that, but I think this series should be clear enough to state that okay, Ishan Kishan right now is not your number 4 player. So if you want a number 4 player in future, if you want a wicket keeper at number 4, and if KL Rahul is not there, then I think the go-to man should be Sanju Samson and not Ishan Kishan.
I mean, it makes sense, right? Ultimately, when you have to talk about team combinations and that kind of blueprint leading into the World Cup, at least Rishabh Pant, I'm not sure if he's going to be fit for the World Cup or if he's going to be ready in time when it comes to cricket
I
playing
honestly
fitness.
I
At
don't
least
see
if you,
Rishabh Pant being fit throughout this year. I think he'll
yeah,
make a comeback next year
yeah,
or
most
probably after the
likely
World
so.
Cup.
Maybe after the World Cup as well. Maybe towards the end of 2023 is where I'm expecting him to come back. You don't have to rush him. Or also, I think we have to give him. We have to understand
Yeah, he's a young player. He'll get to play two
Such a
more World
massive,
Cups at
massive,
least.
massive player out there. So, I really hope you give him enough time to recover and come back. But understanding KL Rahul is your number one choice keeper, and he's been outstanding at number 5 for Team India. You have to give credit well due. He has faced the brunt of a lot of criticism from us itself time and time again. How we have told that he's not the right fit for Team India in T20 eyes, how he's not the right opening batter for Team India. But when it comes to him opening the batting, or when it comes to him batting in the middle order for Team India at number 5, he has really been able to really cement that, and that's what we've been missing in this series as well. A batter who could come and accelerate, or a batter who could come and steady the ship if it need to be. Like for example, I remember in 2020 when India toured the same opposition in New Zealand, there were occasions where India were 3 down in the power play, but then Shreyas Iyer and KL Rahul used to pull us out of a hole more often than not, and that's
And
something
and
which you
very
can
recently
expect from
as
KL
well. I
Rahul.
mean, the game against Sri Lanka, it could have gone either way. The second ODI against Sri Lanka, when
Yeah,
India was chasing, it was a tricky chase. It did not look like so at the halfway stage, but it did turn out to be a tricky stage because India were losing wickets at regular intervals. And
mm.
KL Rahul played that stable sort of an innings, and we have seen Shreyas Iyer do that in the ODIs for Team India over the last year. Complete last year, the openers were not working. Honestly, Shikhar Dhawan was not performing up to the mark last year. You had a young Shubman Gill who was getting some opportunities. That opening combination before the Zimbabwe series was not at all fixed. So there were lots of changes. Rohit Sharma was coming in not in the best of forms. So majority of the saving was needed to be done by Rishabh Pant and Shreyas Iyer in that middle order. And I think number 4, 5, 6 were India's biggest strengths in the last 2 years, especially
Yeah.
because the highly regarded and the highly rated top 3 of the Indian ODI setup, Shikhar Dhawan, Rohit Sharma,
I
Virat
think we'll
Kohli,
take
were
this
not getting those
question
big runs.
by Ronnie as well. Ronnie has asked this question twice. कोहली को खेलना चाहिए तो लॉफ्टर उस वक्त पे फिर कोहली नीडेड टू प्ले द लॉफ्टर शॉट एट दैट टाइम. देखिए, पहली बात तो ये है कि कोहली जिस तरीके से सिचुएशन था गेम का उस वक्त पर, कोहली को मोमेंटम आगे लेना चाहिए था. और आप देखिएगा तो ईशान किशन उसी वक्त आउट हुए थे, रन आउट हुए थे, और उस वक्त भी कोहली का कॉन्फिडेंस थोड़ा नीचे गिरा था क्योंकि वो मिस कम्युनिकेशन हुआ था बीच में, और ईशान किशन ने बहुत ही सारे डॉट बॉल्स कंज्यूम किए होते हैं उस वक्त तक. So what I personally felt was Kohli had to take the momentum of the game forward because openers had set a proper base for you from where you were eyeing at close to 450, if not 500 at that point of stage. Only then Kohli had to play. Kohli's knock of 36, I can't complain at all. Kohli climbed the ball brilliantly, just that the elevation did not come off today, but then that was what the team required him to do. And that's exactly meeting the demands of the team. If you had to get out playing such a shot, you let it be, because that's what the modern game demands you. Kohli can't play a 30-run knock of 50 balls or 40 balls there. Or Kohli couldn't have scored 50 of 70 balls. It might look good on his stats, but the situation and the team demanded him to get going, score a very quick 550, 60, or whatever possibly it could have, and to take the game on, because there was no proper striking from both ends. Even for Hardik started scoring towards the latter end of his innings. Until then, even he took enough a number of balls. He was also consuming a lot of balls, which put a lot of pressure on Team India to put that scoring rate really low, because it could have easily been a 450 kind of a score today with the kind of start we had got earlier. So the kind of number of balls with Kishan Kasim, for example, at one point of stage, he was 2 runs of 11, 13 balls, and that was not good enough. He was unable to score. He was unable to rotate the strike, which I think is a massive, massive negative in his own game. And I think he has to improve. He has to find ways to do it so, because there are other players who are waiting and who are ready and raring to go at this point. Because even only reason Rishan Kishan find himself in a team is because he is a keeper. Or else, as a batter, I'll never have Ishan Kishan in my team, because he's not just good enough. I really
Also,
find
he
a lot.
brings in that extra left-handed combination which India
Yeah,
actually lacks in the top six. Lekin,
yeah.
yeah, coming to the question of Ronnie, I think you pretty much summed it up. I mean, absolutely on the point. उस समय पे अगर कोहली नहीं मारता, मतलब फिर ऐसा लगता you are 212 for 1 at 212 for 0 at the end of 26 overs. दोनों ओपनर ने सेंचुरी मारा है, आधा इनिंग्स बचा है आपके पास. The least that the team was expected to do was to go to 450. और उस समय उसी 2 मिनट पहले या 2 ओवर पहले ईशान किशन रन आउट हो गए थे. और तभी जेकब डफी बॉल कर रहा था, जो अपना पहला ओडीआई खेल रहा है, तो वो प्रेशर में था. 42-45 रन खाया था 4-5 ओवर पे, वो तो मार भी खाया था उसके पहले, तो वो प्रेशर में भी था. तो उस समय पे अगर कोहली रिस्क नहीं लेते तो कोई पॉइंट नहीं बनता. उस दे हैड टू टेक दैट रिस्क, एंड आई थिंक it is one of those days. On 4 or 5 occasions, that loft over mid off would have gone over the mid off side, and he would have got enough elevation. It was just one of those days where he did not get enough elevation on the ball. And I think the innings, I am happy with with the innings that Virat Kohli played. Not happy with the way how Surya Kumar Yadav got out, but happy with the contribution that he made. A 14 run of 8 balls is still okay. But a 17 run of 24 balls when your team is at 245 for 2 at the end of 30 overs is unforgivable. It's just unforgivable. And that just took the momentum out of the innings. And
I
then
mean,
after
even
that
in that
point, India,
17 runs, if you just take away that one hit which he had of Sandner, where he
yeah,
went
and
over
I
mid
think the
wicket.
exact reason, Abel, I think the exact reason why he was promoted ahead of Surya Kumar Yadav at that stage was probably because to take on Mitchell Santner, because Santner had got Virat Kohli out in the last two ODIs, and he had 5 overs remaining when Virat Kohli came into bat. So it was
Yeah,
given that Santner was coming into bowl, and instead of sending in Surya Kumar Yadav, they decided to go with the left-hander so they can
yeah,
attack. He can
yeah,
attack Santner from the other end, but he ended up putting a lot of pressure on Virat Kohli playing those dot deliveries. And I think
yeah.
it was he was not being able to rotate the strike, and that is something that you should be able to do at the bare minimum, because Kohli was timing the ball really well from the other end. So
Hmm.
I think if you ask me, the middle order or the lower middle order hasn't looked great in either of the four innings that India played. Like right
Hmm.
after you can even consider that Bangladesh game. In the last 5 matches where India have batted first, the middle order, the contributions from the lower middle order and the middle order hasn't been that great. It's just the top three going on to score humongous runs. Ishan Kishan scored that double hundred against Bangladesh. Then in the first ODI against Sri Lanka, Kohli scored that century. There was great support from Rohit Sharma as well. In the third ODI, once again, Kohli went on to score a century, 160, not out some of some 110 deliveries. Then you
Yeah.
had the first ODI against New Zealand, where Shubman Gill went on to score that double century. Third ODI, once again, both the openers went on to score centuries. So, but if you consider the amount of runs the openers and number three batsmen have scored in the last 7 games, India have managed only 340, 350, 380, 370. I'm saying
Yeah.
only with the starts that they had, And if they could have capitalized in that middle over period after the 30 over point, from overs 30 to 40, India tend to lose a lot of wickets, and I think that has hampered them in the series. Not the results haven't hampered, but one of the games could have easily gone either way. The first
But
ODI
either
against New
way,
Zealand.
I think it's good as well. Everybody's trying to bat in a certain way where they have to like uplift the momentum, keep the momentum going. In that process, if you lose wickets, so be it. But that's the kind of blueprint or the intent what you want to see from the players. And it's rightly laid down by the team management so far. And it's very good in one day format because in one day format, the game demands this. And in white ball format, you need to bat in a certain way. And that's been already been laid down by the openers and the rest of the team. India has been whitewashed by various teams in Syria countries. Now it's good to see the nations being whitewashed here. But I think if one team who has gone to Sena countries in white ball format and dominated them, it's India. If you remember from 2017 to 2019 at least, we went to South Africa. We went on there. We went on to win
No,
5-1
I
there.
think Kapil is just
Then
mentioning. I mean, he's just referring to that series that we had against New Zealand,
okay,
the
yeah,
whitewash
I'll just
series.
come to that. I'll come to that. In 2017, we went to South Africa. We won 5-1 there. Then we went to Australia. We won 2-1. I think we went to New Zealand and won 2-1 as well. So I think we have won almost everywhere except New Zealand in recent times where we lost in 2020 3-0. And recently we lost 2-0. That was the result, if I remember, where last match was not being able to play. So New Zealand is one country it's very tough to win because New Zealand has got an impeccable record in their own backyard, both in Test and One Day internationals.
I
So
think
that's one area
we have
wherein
just won one ODI series in New Zealand. I think that was way back in 2009-10.
no, we just won to the ODIs in 2017, 19 actually, where we went to New Zealand and defeated where Kuldeep and Chahal had a very good series.
Oh yeah,
Raidu
yeah,
had a
right.
million of characters. I remember that series. So other than that, we really haven't really done well in New Zealand except from that series. What I remember in 2009, even 2014, we had a very horrifying season. It was a 3-0 win for New Zealand. One of the matches were tied, and other matches India or 4-0 win for New Zealand rather. So India really haven't done well in New Zealand, or New Zealand haven't done well in India. So it's been going, it's been like the ebbs and flows has been such that India wins in India and New Zealand wins in New Zealand against India. So that's been the way it's been going. But if I have to say one team who has dominated in that battle, it's India because India has won in New Zealand, where New Zealand have not really won in India. But talking
Yeah, and
about
India in white ball is a different ballgame altogether. I mean, they go to countries, they dominate. If you think about the test side, well, we were whitewashed by Australia, England on various occasions in 2012, 2014. There was a phase where we were not going outside and winning test series under Dhoni. But I think after that, after the post 2017 era, where Virat Kohli actually matured as a captain, he has been dominant all across the world.
yeah,
And there are only I mean, the test series in South Africa is one thing which is left to conquer. We have to go to South Africa and win it, a test series. We were very close to defeating England in the test series as well. It was a tie because of the baseball that we got to see after
yeah, it was
one.
just bad. It was unfortunate. But
It was unfortunate.
Ronnie asked a question as to whether Surya Kumar Yadav will have to play a little bit longer to play well, or wait a little bit longer to play well in ODI cricket. Uh, is wait in the context of a game, or wait in context of him having to wait a little bit and others getting a chance? But I'll just
I think
say
both.
Surya Kumar Yadav
I think both.
is still a good enough player to play one day cricket. Is my personal
He's
opinion.
definitely a great player to play one day
I
cricket. It's just that he has to understand that this is not T20. You have more often than not, Surya Kumar Yadav comes to bat at the end of the 25th or 26th over. So that means he has 25 overs to take on the bowlers,
yeah.
and he just has to be a bit clever with his shot
I think
selection.
yeah, it's just one innings. I think once he gets that one innings under his belt, I still think Surya Kumar Yadav should play in the 2023 World Cup. But I don't know how. Maybe he'll need more opportunities. We'll see that because you have a lot of games. You have a series against Australia as well, the one day series. So we'll know how you are going to shape up before the World Cup. But Shreyas Iyer and KL Rahul are your number one starters at this point of time for Team India as number 4, number 5 batter. Number 6 is going to be definitely Hardik Pandya. Number 7 is going to be your spin bowling all rounder, whoever makes the cut, Jadeja, Akshar Patel, or Washington Sundar, whoever it is in terms of the fitness and whoever stays fit when the World Cup comes. Because these three players have had enough issues with their fitness, so you do not know who's going to be the fittest when the World Cup comes. At this point, we can't say anything. I know it's still early days,
Also,
but
I
you
won't
never know.
complain if we have both Kuldeep Yadav and Yuzvendra Chahal playing one of those games like
Yeah,
today.
Either way, but I still think India will go in with a 3-2 combination with one spin bowling all rounder, one proper spinner, and three out and out paces, because that's a question what we have here as well. We need to go in with Umran, Siraj, and Bumrah as pace bowling trio. We
And
can't
add to
rely
that
on
the new
Shardul.
bowling prowess of Hardik Pandya. So you basically have
We
four
can't,
seamers.
yeah, we can't rely on Shardul as third ball. It's okay to compromise batting depth for good bowling. Do you think India will go on to make the mistake of not playing these three, or you can also add Shami to the mix, which will make India a very strong bowling attack, because Siraj, Shami, Bumrah is a much better bowling attack than having Shardul there, because Shardul will have
No, no,
more.
Shardul. I'm honestly, I'm not a huge fan of Shardul Thakur with the ball.
Yeah.
And yeah, he gets a lot of wickets, Lord Shardul as we call him. But more often than not, you see that most of the deliveries that he gets wickets off are not great deliveries. I mean, the
Mm,
bouncer to Daryl Mitchell tonight was great. That was a good delivery. Caught Mitchell by surprise. But right after that, the next delivery where Latham got out for a golden duck. I think that was a half. It was a half volley. If he would have stayed at the crease, it was a full toss. It was a low full toss, which he was taken aback by. And then the third wicket obviously came in, like he was a all-rounder. So I think the balls with which he gets those wickets is not very convincing. When you see Shami get a wicket, you think that yeah, he deserves every bit of it. I'm not saying Shardul does not deserve the wicket that he gets. He definitely deserves each one of them, but I think the way he gets those wickets, it looks like he
I
gets
mean, he
wickets
still
of
doesn't
average
give you the
deliveries.
confidence as a third seamer in this bowling attack, which India becomes even more potent when you have three proper seamers, where you can possibly add someone like an Umran or Shami to the mix of Siraj and Bumrah. I think Siraj is a sure starter in this team with the kind of form he has shown throughout
Yeah,
2022 and carrying that
I
on to
mean, at the
2023.
start of the series, I was a bit skeptical about Siraj, but then again, he has proved me wrong again and again. I mean, another series where he was absolutely brilliant, right at the top, and he bowled really well with Mohammad Shami in partnership. I think bowling partnerships are really underrated, and there are bowlers when you have the right sort of mixture, they can bowl really well in tandem. And I think Siraj and Shami bowled really well in tandem, and
Hmm.
that is something which we even saw in the series against Sri Lanka as well. So I hope India sticks to them. But
Yeah.
once Bumrah is fit, I definitely believe that Bumrah is going to come in, and I think he's going to come in place of Shami. Uh, right
You
now,
still
it
think,
looks as if he's going to come in
you
place
think
of Shami.
Umran, Siraj, and Bumrah will be the bowling attack for the World Cup?
Right now, I think so. But
But I
once
also think
again,
Umran makes a good fit into this team, because we need a bowler who can bowl in the middle overs. With Shami,
we need a
what
bowler
we
who
get is
can
he can
bowl at
have the
good
new
pace in
ball
the middle
bowling
overs,
well,
who can
but
pick up
in the
those
middle
wickets in the
overs and
middle
the
overs.
death, there's still an issue with Shami.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely, we need a bowler who can pick up those wickets in the middle overs, especially because after that Kulcha era that we had, it was a very successful era. We were very successful because we were picking lots of wickets in that middle overs from overs 10 to 40. Kuldeep Yadav and Chahal was
Yeah,
picking a lot of wickets for us. Right now,
yeah,
we have Kuldeep Yadav in great form, and Umran Malik is another great addition to that squad. He's a Loki Ferguson sort of a bowler who is very good with the old ball, can come in, ball that hard length at good pace, and get those wickets. But
yeah,
the only concern for me regarding Umran Malik right now is his consistency. I think India will be happy even if he goes for 70-80 runs, but gives India 2-3 wickets in that middle overs. So economy rate won't be that much of an issue in the middle overs more often than not. If Umran Malik goes on to pick up wickets for Team India, which he is doing right now, if he continues to do this, maintain his performance, I think he's great. But consistency wise, I feel, yeah, you definitely feel, if you have to drop Mohammad Shami, if you are going to play with Bumrah, Siraj, and Umran Malik, and you have a Shami who is in great form, so you might just say that, I mean, he's a
yeah,
far superior bowler when it comes to
yeah.
technicalities.
Indian cricketers
And
are
Umran
lions
Malik,
at home and lambs abroad. At least Indian cricketers are lions at home, which Pakistan is not. Pakistan are unable to win both home and away. So I think Pakistan are nowhere there. So, and
let's not bring
India's
that
record
up. I
away
mean,
from home.
Pakistan had the most horrendous home series I've ever seen a
Yeah, just
Pakistani team
I
have.
mean, we don't even have to talk about it, because India won more Test matches, more one-day series outside home compared to any other team, and Pakistan's away record and home record is
No,
pretty
it was a
devastating for
shocking
their home
series
country.
for Pakistan. Shocking
I think
season for
we'll
Pakistan.
take this question on Kuldeep as well. Kuldeep Yadav and Kulcha, which Samir Prakash has asked. Samir, I personally think Kuldeep Yadav has had Kuldeep Yadav 2.0 kind of a comeback into Team India. He's really come back with a lot of intent and purpose, and you could see that in the way he's been bowling, right? The way he's been on the crease, how comfortable he has looked, the angles he's been able to use in the crease, and the pace variation, which has been one of the biggest positive about his comeback into the Team India. Now, if I have to talk about Kuldeep Yadav prior to 2022, I'll talk about Kuldeep Yadav prior to 2022 IPL as such. There was a lot of doubts about his pace variation where batters were able to line up against him more often than not. Now, what has happened is he used to come uh, from a diagonal angle into the crease, but now he's become more straighter on the crease where he's been having a straight run up, which has given him a lot more time when it comes to his load up and release, which makes him far more potent when it comes to his control and pace variation on the crease. I think that's been one of the biggest positives of Kuldeep Yadav, and that element of reading left arm leg spinners is still a concern with a lot of batters. So that's one advantage which Kuldeep Yadav has, which Chahal does not. With Chahal, what has happened is a lot of captains have lost confidence in Chahal. Even you saw that today. Chahal was the last option which a captain went on to, and Chahal was the last option a captain went on to when it comes to choosing a bowling lineup for a series as well. Because there's a lot of there's a lack of confidence among the captains and among players as to whether Chahal can give you wickets, and that's also because of the kind of form which Chahal had shown throughout the last 1 year in various formats or various games he had played as well. But now finally with Kuldeep Yadav's resurgence, what that has helped Team India is that India has gotten that attacking option through the middle overs, and Kuldeep Yadav has been extremely consistent in all surfaces to turn the ball and create something where there is nothing for the bowler. So I think Kuldeep Yadav is a huge positive, but I don't see Chahal really reaching that, and Kulcha will not be playing together because that really hampers your team balance until unless you have a pitch where it turns a lot. For example, you're playing on a Chennai wicket in the World Cup against an opposition who struggles against spin. There you can put in Kuldeep and Chahal, and you can compromise on a fast bowler. It could be the third fast bowler who you have in the team. Now, Hardik Pandya also bowling with new ball gives that option for Team India. So that's why Hardik Pandya again is a vital option, right? Hardik Pandya's fitness till the World Cup and to get on the World Cup to bowl 10 overs consistently is going to be very, very important for Team India. I think um, that's something which I think which has been which Hardik Pandya has been able to do so far for Team India. The option which he's been able to utilize. Let's see how it happens through the course of the World Cup and till the end of the World Cup as well. Siraj, Bumrah, and Shami best option for the World Cup. Yeah, we did discuss on that. I also personally think that is one option India will try. Um Park team right now, no century for Kohli in the series. Yeah, I mean it is slightly disappointing because Kohli again has set a different standard for himself. We all are waiting for Border Gavaskar Trophy, and that's where you will want Kohli to really score runs. And what do you think, Sandeep Mani? Would you want to see Gill opening the batting in Border Gavaskar Trophy with the kind of form he's in, or KL Rahul?
I would love to see Gill opening the batting in the Border Gavaskar Trophy, and I would say that because Gill first started making a noise in the international arena with the Border Gavaskar Trophy. That innings in the fourth test, in the Gabba test, that 91 run knock was the start of Shubman Gill's illustrious career. I'm saying illustrious because he has started off brilliantly. Fastest
Yeah.
Indian to reach 1,000 runs in ODIs,
And
four
most number of
centuries in the
runs
last
scored
seven
in
eight
a
months.
series. He's equal Babar Azam. He's gone on top of Babar Azam because of the average he has had in the series. Babar Azam previously has scored 320 runs, if I'm not wrong, or 320 runs in a particular three-match series against West Indies. Now he has equaled that by
No, I
scoring
think
the number of runs
the
in this
record
series.
is of 360, and I think
60,
both
sorry,
of them,
60.
yeah.
Correct, 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 correct.
And I think 360, yeah, definitely. Gill has a better average because he was unbeaten on the second innings. So I think it was. I would definitely love to see Shubman Gill. It was the Border Gavaskar Trophy that kicked off his career, because prior to that he played in that ODI series against New Zealand in New Zealand. Not very effective.
Yeah.
And I think whatever opportunities that he got prior to the Border Gavaskar Trophy, he was not really getting a hang of it. But once he started opening and playing that aggressive sort of a knock, the entire atmosphere of the team changed, and suddenly it was, you have to agree, it was
I
a Virendra
think
Sehwag sort
when
of
we
knock.
talk about generational talents in every era, I think he's the only player who's close to being an all format player of this generation. And when we talk about Tendulkar, Gavaskar, Virat Kohli, I think Shubman Gill is on the right path. I'm not judging it too early, but then maybe 10 years down the line, you can judge where
I was
Shubman Gill
just
has
having a
reached.
conversation with a friend today before the game, and I definitely feel that Shubman Gill is going to be a sensation, especially in the white ball, especially in ODIs. I'm not sure whether he can implement his game in T20Is because see, a strike rate of 110, 115 looks great in ODIs. But in T20Is right now, you need a strike rate, an opener to have a strike rate of close to 140, 150. I'm not sure if Shubman Gill can provide that to the Indian team right now.
Yeah.
Uh,
But
so
it's going
I
to be very
think,
interesting to see how he's going to
yeah.
take the
But talk
form
about
into T20
ODIs and
format.
Test matches. I think has a very bright future. Especially talk about talents of that year in particular. You had Prithvi Shaw of the 2018 under 19 batch. You had Prithvi Shaw. You had Shubman Gill. Uh, Prithvi Shaw was a household name even before the under 19 World Cup, captaining the side. Had a terrific record in domestic circuit, but it was Shubman Gill that made a name for himself in that under 19 World Cup, and since then I think his performances have been exemplary, and I think he has just improved massively, and it is just very difficult to get Shubman Gill out, and
Yeah.
that is one
I
quality I
mean,
think.
I still think you should consider form over anything else. And on that regard, you will need a player who's good of short pitch bowling. You will need a player who's good of playing spin. And Shubman Gill
Definitely.
took
And
almost
and
both
I think
those
Australia are
boxes.
going to pose a great threat with Nathan Lyon coming in that Australian setup. And I
And the
think if
match to
I'm
be played in Nagpur to start off with. Nagpur wicket. I was just going through the scorecard of Gujarat versus Vidarbha. I think it was Gujarat versus Vidarbha, the match. And Gujarat lost that match. Gujarat lost that match, if I'm not wrong. They were just chasing for 72 on the last
yeah,
innings
yeah,
and
yeah,
they
they
got
got
out for
all out for
54.
52, 54
54.
something.
And that was just shocking to me. And you can expect the same wicket to be played out. And if you remember in 2015, India played South Africa at Nagpur. It was a ranked turner. There was demerit points given to this pitch as well. And even in 2016 World Cup, India got all for 79 against New Zealand in the same wicket. So
Yeah.
there are some bad memories for Team India in Nagpur, but especially when it comes to Test cricket, you need your spinners to pose a threat, and you need good spin bowling batters out there. So on in that very regard, considering the form, I will prefer Shubman Gill over anybody else. And
I would
I
definitely
personally,
prefer Shubman Gill over anybody. Like we said at the start of this series, Kuldeep Yadav is a player who should play all the formats right now, because especially because of his form and the way he has improved. I think there was a
yeah, I
you
mean,
you
this
pretty
is the
well
biggest
summed it up.
question as well, संदीप, because गिल के जगह कौन ले सकता है, मैं सॉरी पंत के जगह कौन ले सकता है, क्योंकि पंत जिस तरीके से इम्पैक्ट क्रिएट करता है टेस्ट क्रिकेट में,
हाँ,
मेरे को लगता नहीं कोई आके वो इम्पैक्ट क्रिएट कर पाएगा, क्योंकि हमको पता है
और स्पेशली क्योंकि
कोना
आज
भारत का
ही
कीपिंग काफी
आईसीसी
अच्छा है।
ने टेस्ट टीम ऑफ द ईयर अनाउंस किया है, और इंडिया का बस एक ही प्लेयर है वो टॉप 11 में, और वो है ऋषभ पंत। सो
हाँ,
टेस्ट मैचेस में लास्ट ईयर में इंडिया का कोई भी प्लेयर का उतना सिग्निफिकेंट कंट्रीब्यूशन नहीं था। हम लोगों ने देखा कि विराट कोहली, पुजारा थ्रू लेटर हाफ में वो दिसंबर में बांग्लादेश के खिलाफ एक सेंचुरी मारे, बट पूरे साल पुजारा का भी उतना फॉर्म, तो नंबर 3, नंबर 4, नंबर 5, नंबर 4 तक इंडिया का कोई
पर
मतलब रन उतना कंसिस्टेंटली नहीं
पंत
हो रहा
की
था।
इम्पैक्ट जो कि वो मैच जितवा सकता है टीम इंडिया को। पंत आके एक सेशन में पूरा गेम बदल सकता है। उस हिसाब का तो प्लेयर कोई नहीं है टीम इंडिया में और पूरे
डेफिनिटली।
देश में भी कोई नहीं है, क्योंकि पंत ने हर एक सीरीज़ में और हर एक ऑपोज़िशन के खिलाफ हर एक कंडीशन में प्रूव किया हुआ है कि पंत एक अकेला मैच विनर है। और अभी आप देखिएगा तो ईशान किशन को टीम में चुना है। मेरे को लगता नहीं ईशान किशन पंत के आस-पास भी आ सकता है टेस्ट क्रिकेट में। कोना भारत एक अच्छा कीपिंग ऑप्शन है, पर बैटिंग के हिसाब से तो अभी भी बहुत ही सारे आगे जाना है कोना भारत को। पर मेरे को लगता नहीं है कि पंत की
Having
जगह
said
कोई
all
ले
that, I
सकता है।
think India are, I mean, we definitely, given the form, Gill should be the
और
number one
इसी
option.
वजह से एक एक ऑप्शन ले सकता है टीम इंडिया। वो है कि केएल राहुल को बोल सकता है कीपिंग करने के लिए। वो बहुत बड़ा रिस्क होगा, क्योंकि केएल राहुल सबसे सुरक्षित कीपर नहीं है टेस्ट फॉर्मेट में, क्योंकि बॉल
Definitely.
घूमेगा और केएल राहुल का कीपिंग स्किल्स उतना ऊपर भी नहीं है पंत जैसा या तो भरत जैसा। टीम के बैलेंस के लिए केएल राहुल को कीपिंग करने के लिए बोल बोल सकते हैं। मिडिल ऑर्डर में आके बैटिंग करने के लिए, या तो ओपनिंग जाके बैटिंग करने के लिए, और स्पिन को काउंटर करने के लिए सूर्य कुमार यादव को खिला सकता है, क्योंकि सूर्य कुमार यादव एक ऐसा ऑप्शन देगा जैसा पंत देता है, आके गेम को बदल सकता है। तो यही मेरे मेरे हिसाब से एक ही ऑप्शन है गेम को बदलने के लिए, क्योंकि अभी जिस तरीके से टेस्ट फॉर्मेट आगे बढ़ रहा है, गेम चेंजर्स बहुत जरूरी है टेस्ट फॉर्मेट में भी। मैं 5 साल पहले ऐसा सोच भी नहीं सकता कि टेस्ट फॉर्मेट में ऐसे बात करूंगा मैं, क्योंकि जिस तरीके से इंग्लैंड खेल रहा है और जिस तरीके से ऑस्ट्रेलिया ने एशेस में खेला है, गेम जो बदल सकता है ना आके एक सेशन में, वैसे ही प्लेयर्स टेस्ट फॉर्मेट को आगे बढ़ेगा, क्योंकि टेस्ट फॉर्मेट में अभी सर्वाइव करना बहुत मुश्किल है। आप टेस्ट फॉर्मेट में जाके 100 बॉल खेल के 20 रन बनाए तो एक ना एक बॉल तो आपका विकेट तो लेगा ही, क्योंकि ऐसे ही जा रहा है आजकल टेस्ट क्रिकेट, because test pitches are very tough for batters these days, because all the test pitches are wicket oriented until unless you're playing in Pakistan kind of surfaces. In India, the ball is going to turn. In England, the ball is going to swing. In Australia, the ball is going to seam around a lot. So you need batters who can take the game forward, score at a very high
And
strike
we have
rate.
seen this over the years. The pitches have just got difficult for the players to bat on. We hardly see a very flat track for test matches, unless again unless you are playing in Pakistan. So other than that, I think we have had very competitive pitches, like you mentioned. The ball seams, swings, and spins in the various parts of the world. But having said that, I think India will still go ahead with KL Rahul ahead of Gill, because
Yeah.
we know the amount of love that Team Indian selectors have for KL Rahul, and I think he's a class player. But it's high time that he comes good for the side.
I mean, he
If
has not really given me that great impression in test format in recent past as well, because he's the only Indian opener in the last 2 decades who's been averaging less than 35, and that's not a good thing to have when you have such illustrious names as openers in your legacy. So for me, a player in form is bigger than a player's name. And though KL Rahul is your vice captain, if Ajinkya Rahane, the vice captain, can be dropped in South Africa, I don't see any reason why Gill shouldn't be given a go when he's in such great form. And for me, Gill can go out there, score at a very good strike rate, and change the
and
game on
take
day
the
one or
pressure on
whenever.
the bowlers. I think that is going to be very important. If you can get, if you see England versus India, England were not at all effective in the series in India, in the Test series in India last year, was especially because right from the get go, the main England spinner Jack Leach, Rishabh Pant went after him. He bowled a spell of 7 overs. He went for 70 runs, and he came back pretty well. He bowled a great spell in that second test, if I'm not wrong. And even in the first test, second innings, he picked up a 5 wicket haul that eventually won England the game, the only game that they won in that series. But the way it is always very important to take on the best bowler that the opposition has to provide. And I think that is one approach that Team India has been taking in recent
Yeah,
times. And that is the way the middle order plays. If you consider, even if you talk about Shreyas Iyer, I don't see him changing his game. Even if he gets out for 15, 16 in the next 2 matches or so, he's still going to come out there and take the attack on the bowlers. And I think that is very important for players to survive. Ravindra Jadeja, if he plays in the test matches, it's very unique of a player to see. See, Jadeja in T20 cricket comes in and goes after the bowlers, but a test Jadeja player, he is a very sort of a stable player at number 7 for Team India. Not technically, you have those shots where he just puts the leg out of the way and just smacks the ball, but he goes at a very slow strike rate. And not unless if he's playing with number 9, number 10, he does not play any rash shots. And I think that approach has to change right now. uh, Not going against your natural abilities, of course, but once again we saw that Pujara scored a century. The only way he could get to that century was playing attacking cricket. And we have seen India try to play attacking cricket against Bangladesh. I don't know what happened in the last innings where they were 39 for 4, 39, 44 for
yeah,
5, or 70 odd for 7. That
yeah.
India were really trying to defend every ball at that in that innings. But other than that, if you take that innings aside, I think even the most defensive players have looked to attack. You have Pujara taking the attack on the bowlers. Kohli has always been aggressive, and then you have had the likes of Rishabh Pant and Iyer. So to fill in that Rishabh Pant's shoes is going to be very difficult. And I think India are going to go with KL Rahul, Rohit Sharma, Pujara, Kohli, and then I think we are going to see Shreyas Iyer and then KS Bharat for the first game. I think we are going to see Case Bharat in the first game, and then followed by Jaddu, Ashwin, Akshar Patel,
Mm,
and probably Siraj and Shami. So I
yeah.
think that is going to be the combination for the first game.
I mean, that's a very good question from Kerala Cricket Freaks as well. He's asked Sanju Samson in test matches. But there's one issue with Sanju Samson in test match. He's not, he played a red ball game after 3 years. His last red ball game was what, back in 2019, and he made a comeback to red ball format in 2022. So selectors at least would have not looked at Sanju Samson as a red ball keeper. What I would suggest Sanju Samson is that he should play more red ball games to still stay in the reckoning, to get a call up into the test format. I still see him getting that action, getting that call up if Rishabh Pant is injured now. You need a batter who can be explosive and change the game, because Sanju Samson is a great keeper anyway, and he's got the ability to go in and change the game as well. So I personally think Sanju Samson should prove himself as a red ball keeper and a player to really get that eyeballs of selectors. Okay, okay, there is Sanju
Personally, I
Samson, there
feel
are
right
as
now
well.
Sanju Samson should just focus on the wide ball, because I think that is where the majority of the chances lie of him playing in that playing 11 right now. Because if you talk about the red ball format, you have the likes of KS Bharat. There is obviously Rishabh Pant, and India have clearly shown with the inclusion of Ishan Kishan that they prefer Ishan Kishan over other keepers right now, even in the test format. So I think he's higher up the pecking order when it comes to ODIs. And right now, with the current Indian scenario, I think he will definitely fit in that middle order slot. If either of Shreyas Iyer or KL Rahul gets injured at the wrong time, I think he should
Yeah.
be your backup keeper in that middle order. India will definitely have Ishan Kishan right at the top, and I think Ishan Kishan should be your backup opener, and nothing
Mm,
else. Backup opener and wicket
mm.
keeper.
Yeah. Ronnie asked what's the injury update on Rishabh Pant. From whatever we can get is that Rishabh Pant is going to start his rehabilitation or his road to recovery after 2 months. I mean, a complete road to recovery into cricket. At this point, he's still recovering, and which is good. Every day goes by, he's going to recover better and better. We still do not know how long the recovery period is going to take. Only his body, and I at least after 3 to 6 months is when you can at least judge as to his recovery has been on a good path. So at this point, it's still early days to say that Rishabh Pant is going to come back playing cricket at this year. We really hope he's going to be fit for the World Cup. Let's just hope that, because we will need someone like a Rishabh Pant for the World Cup. Still, I believe you need a left-hander in your top seven, because with Rishabh Pant you get that, especially against left arms, like players like Sandner in the opposition, or players like Nawaz, or players like Tabrez Shamsi, or anybody. You need a left-hander who can go out there and take the ballers on. So it's going to be very important to see how Rishabh Pant gets fit for the World Cup. It's still early to speculate on that, but we really hope that he'll be fit. Or at least after 2 months, we can have a say that Rishabh Pant is good and ready to go at the end of the year or before the World Cup. So I know it's been good so far. It's been so good for Rishabh Pant that he's recovered very well. His surgeries have gone well. Only thing is those ligament tears have been slightly concerning for them. मजाक कर रही है hyper ना होना lol. Highway wicket with 50-meter boundaries. Yeah.
Yeah, that pretty much sums up the cricket in Pakistan. Highway wicket with 50-meter boundaries. And I think I was a bit surprised that they allowed such pitches to be played on in Test cricket. I think ODI it's still acceptable, but highway wicket with 50-meter boundaries on Test cricket is just a shame.
Yeah, I mean, I do not have anything to say on that regard, because it was just boring cricket, and the results could have gone easily Pakistan's against Pakistan, again the New Zealand series as well, but somewhat bad light and everything kind of came to save them in the last day of that test match. But other than that, I think that's pretty much it from us now. We almost covered the New Zealand versus India series and the road to the 2023 World Cup, and also the Border Gavaskar Trophy, which will start very, very soon, couple of weeks from now. The Border Gavaskar Trophy will get underway from Nagpur, but we'll be here covering you almost every possible thing. Of course, the South Africa T20 League is also on, so we'll try to cover that very soon. I think we'll be back in a couple of days to talk about SA20 and also the T20 series, which India will be playing against New Zealand. Let's hope that Prithvi Shaw gets an opportunity, and some of the other youngsters as well, to see how they go about it lead up to the 2024 T20 World Cup, which is also not so far away. Bye bye, all of you. Take care and see you all very soon. Thank you all for joining. And if you're new on the channel, subscribe and give a like button. Put a like on the video, and also share our videos with your friends and family so that we can keep bringing you all this exciting content. And do check out Boomer 11. It's a free to play fantasy app, so you lose zero money playing fantasy contests on Boom 11. You can play all our contests on Boom 11, cricket, football, and basketball as well. It's there on Apple App Store and Google Play Store as well. Take care and have a safe time, all of you. Bye bye.
Good night, guys.